Sometimes our pain can surface in negative ways in our life. And it may be embarrassing to us, or it could be hurtful to ourselves or others. And sometimes the pain of our past, especially early childhood, can actually create barriers in the way that we interact with others in our leadership opportunities. Usually these things come when we're tired or stressed or at our emotional limit. They can manifest in all sorts of ways, like moving away from people or passive-aggressive behaviors or selfish actions. But they usually come at the most inopportune times, and it's usually a result of some sort of pain in your life. Today I want to dive into more of what this looks like, and I want to give you some simple and practical things that you can do if it shows up. Hey there, I'm Ryan Franklin, and this is Church Leader Made Simple. I'd love for you to join me every week as we explore leadership topics that'll help you get the clarity needed to move your church forward. You can hit the subscribe button and the bell to get notified as soon as I post a new video. And without any further delay, let's get to it. It's not uncommon to find a pastor or a church leader who has a really high level of compassion. Many times it's their love and care for people that helps them embrace their call to serve in ministry. I was working with one pastor recently whose compassion level was just out the roof. And the way he interacted on teams, his supportive nature, his ability to love and care for people, it was just one of the greatest strengths of his ministry. The people that this pastor led would just feel the amazing sensitivity that he had for them. In fact, it attracted people to his church and to his leadership until it wasn't there anymore. It wasn't like a light switch that would go on and off. It would be sort of gradual, but eventually the sensitivity would go away, and the passive-aggressive behavior would come in, and the excessive worry would come, and sometimes it would even lead to a detaching from the people that he loved so much. Let me explain a little bit. This pastor was a natural at compassion and empathy and caring for people. This was his natural wiring, one of his greatest strengths. And under normal circumstances, he wouldn't even have to think about it, and it would just happen. But when the pressure was high, when he would be in a really stressful time of his life, for him it was usually relational stresses, like having to do confrontations with volunteer leaders that weren't doing their part, or maybe during a time of having to deal with a stressful marriage issue with church members, and especially when it was combined with maybe a personal issue of his own. A combination of all of those things together would literally drain the energy from him and cause him to begin putting up these defenses in his relational life. During these tired, stressful times, he would struggle to tell people hard things. And so he would then become a little passive-aggressive in his interactions, and people that he led would begin to resent the passive ways that he was dealing with hard issues in their situation or in the church in general. And in other times, he would struggle to make a decision. Worry would begin to paralyze his decision-making ability, and he was afraid to make the wrong decision, and it would stall the progress of the church and the projects that he and his team were working on. And people would get frustrated, and the stress would build, and things would just begin to snowball. And ultimately, he would resort to detaching and relationally moving away from the very people that were drawn to him because of his amazing interpersonal sensitivity. This wasn't a normal thing for him. And in fact, people rarely saw this side of him. His wife and his family saw more of it than anyone else. But occasionally, yes, it would happen. It would chip away at his effectiveness as a leader in the kingdom of God. And as he and I dove into this together in executive coaching, he realized for the first time that some of his painful childhood experiences had created these responses. He was defending himself from those painful relational experiences, and he didn't even realize it. And as he got tired and stressed and the right pressure was applied, he would do things to guard himself from getting hurt again like he did as a kid. He learned as a kid that in those circumstances, if he used passive-aggressive behavior, or he stalled in his decision-making, or he just moved away from people altogether, he learned that he could avoid that pain. And so without him even realizing it, he would use these same defenses even today to avoid the pain. Now, I realize that this is complicated stuff. I realize that most people can't receive a deep level of healing without key people in their life, like a counselor or a well-trained executive coach, or even a combination of the two. I get that. But if you're seeing these negative things or other negative things in your life at the first sign of relational pain, I want to give you a few practical things that you can do to just begin moving in the right direction in your life. First thing you can do, number one, manage your energy levels. Start working on a good rhythm of life, adequate rest and appropriate work-life balance, sufficient time to play, and of course the needed spiritual balance as well. And if you're struggling in this area, I encourage you to go check out the free Leader Life and Rhythm course on my website, churchleadermadesimple.com. I'll put a link in the description on YouTube, and I promise it'll make a difference in your energy levels. And if your energy levels get better, guess what? Your responses are going to get better. The second thing you can do is raise your level of awareness. Pay attention to what happens in your life during the times that you're most stressed and tired. It'd be a great thing to even keep a journal of any time that you reach this point and what happens before and during and after that. Another way of raising your awareness is to ask those who are closest to you. But you have to make sure that you go into that conversation with a willingness to learn, because it's quite easy for us to get defensive with people when they start talking about things in our life that we don't really want to hear. And the third thing and the final thing that I'll mention today after raising your awareness is number 3, choose to push against your grain. If you find that you're moving away from people during these times, or maybe even moving against people, make a conscious decision to move closer to people. Make a decision to push against the moodiness or the detachment or the people-pleasing or whatever negative traits may be arising in your life. Make the decision to push against your grain in these circumstances. Revelation 21:7 says, "He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son." And with the help of the Lord, I know you have it within you to overcome these things that may be holding you back. And I guarantee you that if you'll start with just these 3 things, I know it's going to make a difference in your ability to push against the negative effects of the pain in your life. Coming up soon in the next session, I'll talk about the key ingredients needed for effective leadership. Be sure to visit churchleadermadesimple.com. And like I said earlier, there's a free 7-session course within that will help you find rhythm in your life. Go check that out. And thank you for being with me. I hope you have a wonderful day. God bless you.